Well, back on the trail. Thank y'all for being patient. This might be a little bit of a long video. I want to share some stuff with you. First off, I'm not going to gloss over anything. I'm not going to tell you it's good. If it's not, I'm not going to try and impress you because I can't. It is like it is. I had a friend some years ago that said he didn't want to do things that made him look bad. Well, I may say or do a few things that make me look bad, but it's the real me, the honest me. I have been climbing for 1.7 miles for a little bit, making decent time. Not a steep climb, but working good. And I want to tell you something. I don't want to be here. Right now, I am absolutely, completely miserable. I'm tired. My tiredness is probably more from mental exhaustion, except I will say that for the last 6 nights, I've not slept worth a flip. And I think that's just because of all that's been going on. As many of you know, last week my very good friend Jim Smith passed away from a heart attack. And I immediately, once I got the message from his wife, called her. She said Jim passed away last night. I called my good friend Wallace, and I said, Wallace, I need to come off the trail. And I told him. He said, when do you want to come? And I said, right now, I'm waiting for you. And Wallace said, I'll leave in 10 minutes. So that was for him, round trip, 6-hour drive. What a great friend. So then I went home, got my car, drove to Virginia, and basically had for the most part, an emotional, depleting weekend. And saw Jim's family and did what I needed to do there. And every night it was restless. It was awful sleeping. So it was good I got to see my family and brothers, sisters, talk to some that weren't there. I have 4 that are in Virginia, and we're all pretty close in one way or another. Got to see some friends, do some things. I did have a great conversation with one of my friends. We were talking about medications, and they had discontinued a medication, and one of the side effects of that discontinuance was they had no motivation, none. And we talked about that a little bit. And one of my things about overcoming not being motivated is when you're not motivated, it's probably a much more important time to get going, but the thing to do is to get moving, to go, and you'll find yourself being motivated by your actions. So I thought about that this morning. Wallace came by and picked me up, drove 3 more hours each way, dropped me off, and we talked about that. And I think I could lay down and go to sleep right now, and I don't know if that's from exhaustion, depression. I don't think it's depression, just emotional downer right now. But I told him, I said, Wallace, I don't want to do this. I'm not motivated to do this. I need sleep. And the idea had come up to just spend a couple extra days at home and sleep, but that wasn't what I needed. This is where I need to be right now. So here I am. I am miserably content. I no longer have the lack of motivation, but I don't have the real desire to kick butt. But I am going to do this. Oh, I need to get this a little closer. It's hard on my hand. So, a few things did occur. If you've been watching my other videos, you know that I've been on this relentless search to lose weight. Weight out of my sleeping bag. Out of my backpack. So I'm still working on that. So what I did, I went to REI, and I'm not sure if this was a good idea or not, but I got their lightweight backpack. My Green Monster, the Kelty, weighed almost 5 pounds. This one weighs less than 2. So ding, 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 savings of approximately 3 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you may not think that a lot, but if you're carrying 30 pounds, that's 10%. That's a good return on your money if you have money in the bank, but I had weight on the back, so 3 pounds was good. So then I weighed my tent. My tent weighed 3.5 pounds, and I'd been thinking about what to do there. One of the thoughts was to use the rain fly and not the tent, set it up using my walking poles, and I did that in the yard yesterday. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And it was windy. Good thing. It wouldn't work. I could not get that to function properly, and I would hate to have to depend on that and in a storm out here have the tent come or the fly go away. So I went to plan B. Plan B was Wallace had purchased for me last week a AquaQuest tarp, 10 by 10 tarp. And I'm going to take a pause here for just a minute and let you see this view. And this is fabulous. How are you, sir?
Hello.
Hey, I am filming on YouTube. You okay to be in it if you're in it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I don't know if I can get this turned around or not. Nope. That's okay. There's a gentleman here looking at this view that is just, he's smart. He's reading the book. This is his view. I'm telling you, wow, how about that? And there he is. You through hiking?
Just for a few minutes.
Good for you, sir. All right. Well, I'm sorry to interrupt your solitude here.
No problem. You can hang out if you want.
Well, I need to get some miles behind me. Thank you, though, very much.
Okay.
Have a fabulous day.
You too.
So Wallace had gotten this AquaQuest tarp 10 by 10. If you want to see some cool videos on what to do with them, you can use YouTube those. So I took that tarp. I had not opened it up, but I did. It was windy. I set it up like one of the primaries that I would do. It's almost like a lean-to teepee sort of deal, 3 sides covered up, and it was windy. You would put the back, what you do is one corner you string up to a tree about 5 or 6 feet high. The far diagonal corner you pull taut, put down with tent stakes, and then you go to each of the other corners and get them to where it's pulled and folded out flat. And stake that down, and then there's 2 or 3 other stakes on either side that you can do for more security. You have one side open. You've got a very deep shelter. If you put the incoming weather at the lower end, the wind blowing from that end, you should be in great shape. Put a ground cloth down and you could sleep in it. I told Wallace this morning coming up here and describing that the only real downfall of that is if it's buggy, then you would have to go with a different configuration, but there's a gazillion configurations so that you're fully enclosed. It's a pretty cool alternative, and the weight on it was less than 1 1/4 pounds, and then I probably got about, I don't know, another, I'm gonna guess, a 1/2 pound with some line and more stakes and that sort of thing. So we're gonna give it a shot and see how that works. I think it'll be okay. So I have saved another 1.5 pounds roughly. Then you're gonna laugh at this, I had 2 Nalgene bottles, and I had from my ride back from Virginia, I'd stopped at 7-Eleven, bought a couple of drinks that had some fairly secure bottles in it, tough, but they were not as big or as heavy duty as Nalgene. I weighed the Nalgene, then weighed my bottles, and I saved another 1/2 pound. How about that for save out 8 ounces? Good thing. So I took a few of my miscellaneous items and got rid of them. I had 2 trail towels, got rid of one of those, and I did something that might end up being a pain, I don't know, and I don't always go back to, but my bear vault, the thing that holds the food, protects it from the bears or mice, weighs about 2 pounds. Puppy's pretty heavy. I left it at home and got a waterproof bag to put my food in. I can throw it over a limb, do a bear hanging. The only place that I'm really concerned about that's in the Smokies, and all the shelters there have these bear wires they call them, or I don't know if they have bear boxes or not, boxes, but I can hang it if necessary. So all in all, when it got all said and done with, I think I saved 8 or 9 pounds. My pack now, without food, but with water, is at 27 pounds. And right now I'm probably carrying about, and more than I need for the moment, but I'm carrying about 5 pounds of food. So I'm looking at about a 32-pound pack. Real happy with that. I have today started at Burningtown Gap. That's down below Waya Bald. It's in North Carolina. It's approximately 13 miles north of Nantahala Outdoor Center. And then Nantahala is about 30 miles to the Smokies. So I don't know if I'm gonna make it to 7 miles to a shelter or 13 miles to Nantahala. My goal is to Nantahala tonight, and stay in the hostel there, and then take off tomorrow. I'm also got in the back of my mind, nobody's around. I don't have anybody. This is, okay, I'm gonna tell you. I really need a good cry. I've got to have this emotional explosion to let some of this stuff out. And I need to get some sleep. So I'm hoping that today, somewhere along the lines, I'll listen to some music or something and maybe drain that overflowing tub of emotions. May stop at the shelter, stay there, go into Nantahala tomorrow. I'm also thinking about, if I made it to Nantahala today, stay in this hostel tonight, I may just stay and sleep tomorrow and chill and, you know, kind of screw the world. I'm gonna do what I need to do for Keith. One other thing that I didn't and should mention, because all of this trip is a huge celebration of lives. Mine, yours, my loved ones, brothers, sisters, just all the people that have come through my life. In part, I might lose it here. One of the people I wanted to celebrate was Jim. And now that's going to be posthumously. But I will do that at some point. Jim and I had known each other since September of 75, or August of 75. We were college roommates. His first day of school, we met. But then also, I got a phone call Sunday morning. I was with my sister Linda. We were exploring some things, and I got a call from my good friend Mark Powell's son. They were doing his celebration of life that day, and Mark died a couple of years ago, and I knew I couldn't get to his house because of being on the trail. I mean, to his services. And Graham had called and said they were doing it that day, and he wanted to try and Zoom me in on it so that at least, he knew I couldn't be there, but at least let me be a part of it. And that didn't happen for whatever reason, I don't know, but my thoughts and prayers were with them. So I want to tell you what, you talk about a scrambled bunch of emotions going. All of that keeping me from sleep. Woe is me, you know, crybaby here, whiny. No, it's just, it happens to me, and I know it happens to you. It happens to all of us, and you know, it's not that it's bad that it happens. It's not that it's not going to happen. I think it's how we handle it. So if you're going through these things, feel free to PM me, you know, tell me about it. I can't tell you the people, the numbers of people that have, I would bet over 100 friends, family, and many have mentioned, have said something I've gotten in the last 5 or 6 days. And to all of you, thank you. You're my inspiration and the reason I'm here. So I've got about 4.5 miles to a shelter. Then I've got a decision to make. I think I know what that decision is now because I'm getting pretty good time, but I'll decide then. Love you guys. Like, subscribe, go to my Facebook page. I'm doing some, you'll see more pictures there than you'll see. It won't, very little video there, some snaps, but most of that's pictures, and I talk a little bit, maybe something same or different. But thank you for looking, commenting, texting me, and saying, hey, I'm watching. It's tough. Okay, Keith. If you're not motivated to move, just go do it. Get out there, make yourself feel better. Do those things that you don't want to get started that you know you need to. Don't procrastinate. Get in there and fight for what's yours and what's your dreams. All right, this has been a little too long. I hope you enjoy it. Y'all have a great day. I love you. Northbound. Bye.